Styles make fights. In boxing, every boxer has certain unique abilities and skills that make him stand out. Sometimes, these skills or abilities are the opponent's weaknesses, allowing them to be exploited as a path to victory. But when both opponents present such high skills and contrasting attributes, the fight becomes a chess match, where strategy is decisive. Today, we will look at the chessboard and analyse the upcoming Beterbiev vs Bivol fight. Just like in chess, you must anticipate your opponent's defense and attacks by understanding how each piece moves. In boxing, the same principle applies. Understanding how your opponent moves is key. Understanding your opponent's moves and your own will allow you to draw a successful strategy to checkmate the opponent. In this breakdown, we will review Artur Beterbiev's and Dmitry Bivol's styles, understanding how each piece moves. We will analyse their first chess match and provide each boxer's key moves to victory. And to watch the rematch, get the pay-per-view on DAZN.com/boxing. You are one click away. Check the description. So, let's start with their styles. Bivol's style. Starting with Bivol's style, Dmitry is the more athletic of the two. Like a rook, Bivol moves quickly laterally and often relies on stepbacks to make opponents fall short. He also catches opponents at angles, like a bishop, moving laterally before suddenly changing direction diagonally to attack. Bivol's best work is from the outside, using his footwork to get in and out of range. He has fast combinations, great accuracy, and precise timing.
Loading up, even if you block those shots.
But you can see when Bivol throws the 1-2. Look at him go! Oh.
He is defensively responsible, utilizing a long guard with an active lead hand.
And look at him throwing more frequently here in round 1.
Beterbiev's style. When it comes to Beterbiev's style, Artur is the more powerful of the two.
You cannot fight against a guy who's stronger than you. You just have to accept it.
Like a pawn, Beterbiev moves one step at a time. He maintains a constant pace, gradually making the ring smaller and trapping his opponent with relentless pressure. Beterbiev frequently uses an L step, moving both linearly and laterally, similar to how a knight moves. This allows him to reposition and attack from his opponent's weak side. But as we will see later, Bivol exploited this pattern in their first fight. Beterbiev's best work comes at close range, using his strength and heavy hands to break opponents down.
Perfectly.
Haven't able to exactly see it here. Body shots. Beterbiev. Oh, Johnson goes down.
He is also defensively responsible, but relies more on a high guard, blocking and ducking under punches. Now that we know how each boxer moves, let's analyse the key moves each can use in the ring or on the chessboard. Bivol's key moves. Counterpunches. In their first match, Bivol was extremely successful in countering Beterbiev with combinations.
Beterbiev is coming on strong. The break to Bivol. Good right. Beterbiev. Beterbiev in front of you. Good 1-2. Good slip right hand uppercut. There's a good chance he could do it.
Bivol is excellent at countering off step backs and pull counters.
We know he has.
He exploited Beterbiev's habit of lunging forward, catching him with precise counters.
With that shot so important, he has to
One of his most powerful shots, the lead hook, was a key weapon. Bivol would slip to the outside and use the momentum to throw a sharp hook, catching Beterbiev from the side. Exploit the high guard. Bivol is one of the best at using his lead hand to control opponents. His high volume jab disrupts and blinds opponents.
And he's looking to set this right hand up.
However, in their first match, Bivol wasn't as proactive with the lead hand as he was against other opponents. Against pressure fighters with a high guard, lead hand control techniques such as pinning, pushing, and pulling can be effective at disrupting offense and destabilizing the opponent. While Bivol wasn't as effective with these techniques, he still exploited Beterbiev's static defense with quick combinations from the outside. Timing shots. One of the most successful strategies for Bivol during the match was his ability to time shots effectively. He intelligently prepared for this and exploited it in two key ways, both taking advantage of Beterbiev's tendencies. As we briefly explained in Beterbiev's style, Artur relies on the L step to circle to his right. While this can be an effective way to circle toward an opponent's weak side, using it at punching range can become predictable and exploitable. Bivol recognized this pattern and capitalized on Beterbiev's tendency to L-step at punching range, catching him while he was repositioning.
Beterbiev late 12 KOs. And in the ring now.
But again, as Andy was saying earlier, when he takes a step to the right, gives him the angle.
Additionally, Bivol successfully timed Beterbiev when he was moving laterally, once again catching him as Artur was repositioning. When Bivol moved to his right, he forced Beterbiev to adjust his stance to face him. Bivol would shift right, then quickly set his feet and strike just as Beterbiev turned to square up.
Right hand side, sorry, the left side of Beterbiev away from across, just stopping that movement back to centre ring.
It's him who and it's Bivol.
Elusive footwork. Another key factor for Bivol in the rematch will be his elusive footwork to stay off the ropes.
Against this guy like Artur, you shouldn't stand in front of him. You shouldn't feel ropes behind your back.
Avoiding moving in straight lines will allow him to remain in the center of the ring, keeping the fight on the outside. In their first fight, Bivol understood this well. Whenever he used a step back in a straight line to evade an attack, he would immediately change direction and circle Beterbiev, regaining control of the center and avoiding the ropes. His use of lateral movement and quick footwork will allow him to circle around the ring effectively. Changing directions when moving laterally will also be crucial, making it harder for Beterbiev, who has slower feet, to cut off the ring. However, Bivol must remain cautious of incoming shots when moving laterally, particularly Beterbiev's hooks and overhands as he looks for an escape. Simply keeping a high guard proved to be flawed, as Bivol admitted he still felt Beterbiev's power through his guard.
He punched a lot on my arm, but you see my face. Yeah.
Instead, ducking under punches while exiting could help him remain elusive and unbalance Beterbiev. Controlling the pace. In their first fight, Beterbiev's pressure was one of the biggest challenges for Bivol. Beterbiev controlled the centre of the ring for most of the fight, forcing Bivol to work harder and expend more energy.
It's like being in a room and the room's just getting smaller and smaller. And you're like, what's going on?
To counter this, Bivol will need to manage that pressure so that Beterbiev does not fully dictate the pace. In the first fight, Bivol was able to back Beterbiev up effectively with his double jab, creating space and giving himself some breathing room.
Coming off knee surgery just 5 months ago, but he's been so far. Good jab, Bivol.
You've got to try and follow that jab back with the right hand.
Perches on the shot because of the movement of Bivol.
But that's when he gets you better.
You can do it, they can catch your equilibrium.
Foot positioning is also crucial. When stepping back, there is always a space to be occupied, either by you or your opponent. Leaving that space for Beterbiev would only give him more ground to apply pressure. Thus, Bivol must step forward strategically, even if it's momentarily, to claim that space and disrupt Beterbiev's forward momentum. Another key adjustment could be the use of clinches. In their first fight, Bivol rarely clinched. However, a well-executed clinch could break Beterbiev's momentum. That said, Bivol must execute it correctly, as Beterbiev is skilled at denying clinches by framing and using his strength to dominate those situations. To neutralize Beterbiev's offense, Bivol can push his head down, apply a headlock, or secure both arms, each method effectively shutting down Beterbiev's attack. Now let's analyze Beterbiev's keys to victory. Beterbiev's key moves. Cutting off ring. While Beterbiev effectively pressured Bivol in their first fight, he struggled to cut off the ring efficiently. At times, he left openings for Bivol to escape rather than cutting the ring off properly. Instead of moving diagonally to close space, he would sometimes pivot and follow Bivol, allowing him to exit easily. However, he did have success timing Bivol's lateral movement, particularly catching him when he was squared up. While Beterbiev did not consistently cut the ring off effectively, he excelled at punching toward Bivol's exit side, landing heavy hooks and overhands.
Fantastic attitude.
This strategy was very successful, especially when Bivol exited on Beterbiev's right side. However, Bivol did have some success when moving to the other side and exploiting Beterbiev's time to reposition with a combination of punches, so Beterbiev will have to look out for it. Exploiting the long guard. While Bivol's key is to exploit Beterbiev's high guard, Beterbiev must do the same with Bivol's long guard. Beterbiev's overhand right is a dangerous weapon that can land over Bivol's extended lead hand. This shot has proven effective for Artur, often landing on the side of an opponent's head. Additionally, attacking under the long guard with body shots is an effective strategy, as the long guard naturally leaves openings downstairs. Feints. The use of feints is another critical tool for Beterbiev's success. His feints and level changes have been highly effective in other fights, allowing him to set up his punches more efficiently and remain unpredictable.
Now we need to feint just a little bit more, okay? Don't go static on it. A little bit, feint, real, mix.
Feints will also help Beterbiev avoid being countered as often by Bivol.
Headhunting from Beterbiev.
Just takes the pressure off himself a little bit.
On top of that, feints can be really tiring for the opponent, as it forces him to react and quote-unquote work for free. This strategy can fatigue Bivol, draining his gas tank for the later rounds. Body shots. A proven method to wear down an opponent and slow their movement is body punching.
Well, he hit me in my hip so hard, I felt it in my foot for a week. You understand?
Beterbiev was especially effective at targeting the body from both long and close range, exploiting the weaknesses of Bivol's high guard from the sides.
Needs to keep doing that, pick his moments.
Against a slick, mobile fighter like Bivol, body shots will be easier to land and can significantly impact the later rounds.
So much movement there. And in round 8, that'll really drain you.
This emphasis on bodywork was a focal point in Artur's first fight strategy, thus the insistence from his trainer on going to the body.
We need body punch, Now we're going only for head.
Close range fighting. Lastly, the most obvious key for Beterbiev is dominating at close range. At long range, Bivol controlled the fight. However, at close range, Beterbiev dominates.
You cannot fight Beterbiev. If you're fighting Beterbiev, you almost have no chance.
Attacking both the head and body, changing angles, and using physicality, such as punching Bivol, forced him into an uncomfortable and less experienced position. Beterbiev has also shown greater aggression in clinch situations. He must capitalize on these moments, using his superior strength to be more active and effective in the clinch. Each of these boxers is a perfectionist and was not fully satisfied with their performance.
I didn't do it perfect, how I want to do it. This is why I don't like the fight. I like to do perfect.
In this second fight, we can expect new tactics and adjustments.
Do you know why you couldn't do what you wanted to do against Bivol?
Yes.
What can you tell me about that?
I can't do.
Both fighters now understand each other better. Bivol seeks revenge, while Beterbiev aims to remove all doubt, making this rematch even more intriguing. Now that we have set the pieces on the board, the question remains: who will checkmate their opponent? Well, you can watch the fight card of the century, featuring the epic undisputed light heavyweight rematch between Beterbiev and Bivol and heavyweight world title Dubois v Parker, with belts on the line all night, live worldwide on DAZN, the global home of boxing. Buy the pay-per-view now on DAZN.com/boxing. We would love to know your opinion on the comments. Who do you think will win? Let us know your prediction. And if the video was interesting, you can find more on our channel. And to your left, we have chosen a video that we thought you may like.